Welcome back. Waha Capital has reported a net profit of 230.8 million dirhams for the first 9 months of the year, compared to 31 million recorded a year earlier. So before we take a look at the day's business news, let's first take a look at the stock indices across the GCC. And in our top business story, engineering, procurement and construction contracts worth $43 billion have been awarded for projects in the oil, gas, petrochemical and power sectors in the GCC. That was during the 12 months to November 2013, according to Mead Projects. Over 40% of the amount was awarded by two major Saudi clients, Saudi Electricity Company and Saudi Aramco. The 42 contracts, worth an estimated $19 billion, ranked the two companies the top of the list of clients to award EPC contracts to for the period. The third-ranked client is Abu Dhabi Marine Operating Company, awarding 5 contracts worth $4.9 billion for packages at Das Island, Saab and Al Lulu fields. The UAE is the second-ranked country of origin with nearly $3.5 billion worth of contracts for the period. The UAE also features the region's biggest project award during the last 12 months. ADCO's EPC2 package for Upper Zakum at over $3 billion, which was awarded as a joint venture for Petrofac and Daewoo. UAE-based Tristar transport company has reached a $200 million shipbuilding deal with Korean shipbuilder Hyundai Mipo Dockyard for 6 new MR product chemical tankers. According to a statement, the vessels are expected to be delivered in 2016 and will be built to the latest specifications with an improved hull form design, making them more fuel efficient and eco-friendly. The new vessels will operate with lower fuel consumption than existing tonnage, making them much more economical to operate, and will be fitted with additional fuel-saving equipment. It added that when delivered, it is anticipated that the ships will be placed on a long-term time charter with an oil major. MR Properties has launched 144 Spanish-style homes to its Arabian Ranches Villa project. The 144 Rosa Villas are designed in Spanish-style architecture in 5 different choices. Registration opens on November the 11th with sales events in Dubai, Abu Dhabi and a showcase in Mumbai on November the 16th. The developer also said that the Rosa project will include a central park, a community centre, health and fitness facilities, daycare centres, mosques and educational institutions. They added that they expect the properties to sell for around 1,500 dirhams per square foot. The US dollar index continued making gains, closing at an 8-week high. Much of the upward moves in the US dollar can be attributed to a stellar US non-farm payrolls report, which shows that the US added 204,000 new jobs during October, more than double the highest expectations. The report continued building optimism around the US recovery following Thursday's Q3 GDP reading, which came in at 2.8%, well above the expected 2.5%. With the recent improving flow of US data, anticipation is building that the Fed could look at a taper as early as December. Well, we earlier spoke to Gaurav Kashyap, the head of futures at Al-Pari Middle East, to get his views.
Well, following Friday's U.S. non-farm payroll report, we saw lots of funds flowing into the U.S. dollar with higher yielding assets and commodities selling off rather aggressively. Now, the much better than expected payrolls report increased speculation and hype in the markets. that the Federal Reserve could potentially tweak their asset purchases with a taper coming as early as December on the back of those improved figures. But although we did see the figures coming in much better than expected, the overall participation rate dropping to 62.8% was very, very worrying for markets. That is the lowest level that we've seen since 1978, and what that means is about 962,000 Americans left the labor force. So once again, these numbers are being a bit skewed at the moment. Overall, the improving upward revisions to September's figures also improve sentiments that the Fed could be looking at a taper. But once again, we have to continue to watch how consumption and how consumer sentiment figures pan out over the next few months to even consider talks of that taper coming in December. Of course, on Friday, we did see the University of Michigan consumer sentiment coming in also lower than expected at 72. So once again, consumer sentiment is not really there, and this is as a result of higher mortgage lending rates in the U.S. economy. But overall, what we are seeing in the days and the weeks ahead is that improving data from the U.S. will continue to lend support to the U.S. dollar on the back of anticipation of that Fed taper. So overall, we expect the markets to remain in favor of the U.S. dollar in the week ahead. Once again, the euro will remain below 133 in the week ahead with a potential test of 130. We did see President Draghi cutting their main refinancing rate by a quarter basis point to 0.25. So the euro will remain under pressure in the week ahead. But overall, we like the potential upsides for the British pound. We have some inflation data coming out from there and some unemployment figures. And we expect the pound to test that channel between 162.50 and 163 in the week ahead.